This video is a summary of how to understand the nomenclature of your workout. We understand that when we put exercises into your workout and we put nomenclature in, that it can be fairly difficult to understand. So I want to put everything together all in one video and help you to understand this. We'll just go through the first part of exercise at the beginning. So you might see a workout that's written up like this. A1, A2, B1, B2. And we'll stop there because there's a lot to understand. Let's say that the first exercise is a bench press. And your second is a squat. Third one may be a curl. Fourth one may be a crunch. After the actual exercise is written out, you'll see something like a set and a rep scheme. So we'll say 2 sets of 10. And to keep it simple, we'll just say 2 sets of 10 all the way across the board. Let's start here. If you see a letter, this is denoting a category. So that all of the exercises that are lettered the same belong in the same superset. Superset just means that you do one exercise for a set, then the next exercise, and then you go back to the top and do that process over until you're done. Something that just had just an A1 and then a B1 and then a C1 would mean you do that one exercise for all the sets that are required, then you would move on to the next exercise. So it's a way to make your exercise more efficient. In this case, what we look at is that because both the bench and the squat are in the same exercise category, and there's 2 sets of this exercise for 10 repetitions each, you would do the bench press for a set of 10, then you do the squat for a set of 10, and then because you're doing this 2 times, you have to go back to the top and do a bench press for 10 repetitions, followed by a squat for 10 repetitions. Once you've done this for 2 sets, you're going to move on to your B category. Now you'll do your curl for 10 reps, your crunch for 10 reps, and then go back to curl for 10 reps, and then crunch for 10 reps. Start the whole thing over. The next number that you'll see will be a tempo. Tempos are very important because they are the amount of seconds that we want you to do an exercise, and each exercise has a different tempo to give you a different area of strength that you may need. The process of strength training is actually extremely complex. So those may be written up as seconds that you'll do each contraction. So we'll say that this is written up as a 4, 3, 2, 1, and this is written up 4, 3, 2, 1, and they'll all have tempos on it. This tempo basically means you're going to take 4 seconds to lower the weight down. So in a bench press, you're going to start in this position. You're going to take 4 seconds to lower it all the way down to your chest. The next number is you're going to take 3 seconds to hold in your bottom position where you feel strong and tight. You'll take 2 seconds to press it away from you, and then you're going to hold it away from you for 1 second, right? In a row, you would do this the opposite way. If this were a row, you would release the weight for 4 seconds that way, stay there for 3 seconds, pull the weight for 2 seconds where you're actually doing the work, and then hold there for 1 second. Tempos will be written on every exercise. The last category is rest. These will usually be written in terms of seconds, so we'll say 60 seconds just to make this easy. The confusing part is, do you rest when you get done with the exercise? Do you rest between every exercise? What do you do? The rest just denotes how much time you're going to rest before you do the exercise again. So if you have a 60-second rest written on your bench, you would do your set of bench presses, and then you would start a timer that leads up to 60 seconds. While that timer's running, you would be doing your squats. And then when you get done with your squats and you go back to your bench press, you would check your timer and make sure that 60 seconds have gone by. If 60 seconds have not gone by, then you want to wait for a little while until 60 seconds have gone by before you do the bench press again. If 60 seconds are already passed, then great, you can just move on. It doesn't matter that much if you're in a 45 to a 60 second gap, but sometimes we'll write in something bigger like a 120 second gap. If there's a 120 second gap, then you'll definitely be resting before you hit your bench press again. So the rest time is always written up to say at the end of A1, when will you start A1 again? That would be 120 seconds between the start and the finish. For the squat, it would be the same thing. You would start a timer at the end of 120 seconds, and then before you start your next set of squats, you would have to make sure that 120 seconds have gone by. Now the easy thing is that once you've done a bench press, you can start a timer and make sure that you wait for a full 120 seconds, and the lag between the time that you rest to start your bench and you start your squat will even itself out. So you don't really have to time between exercise if you don't want to. So that's total nomenclature for doing your strength training.